Okay. It's been a while, so I kind of wanted to pop in to talk to you guys. A couple things. I was trying to figure out how to separate this and kind of make some sense. I was trying to kind of like lead up to this, but just so many things have happened. I wanted to make sure I popped in to cover it. The first thing I want to talk about is Taj. Now, I guess Taj bought a new house. Taj got a McLaren car or something. Now Taj is posting all these like technology sort of things. I really don't know. I legitimately don't understand what he does. It doesn't matter. That the point is it doesn't matter, right? But I guess like I'm really excited to eat this city. At the same time, I want to make something clear because I was thinking about this last night and I was trying to find the best way to put it into words. Okay, so if you remember when I talked about birth is like the beginning of the circle, and then death is like the outside of the circle, right? And the way that you choose to live your life is like the diameter. So if the middle's here, I would say maybe Taj is going this way and like I'm going that way. We don't have anything in common. And that's the point I feel like I've been trying to like showcase. Like there is no crossover. And I was explaining this to what's her face when I was in Germany, because she was like, yeah, but like where I come from, and she was trying to explain all these things about like race and class and all this stuff. The main reason I've been making like the Perfect Black Girl series is because my experiences are so unique to just Black women. You could just do what I did and you would literally get to the same result, because the only way that you could have the opportunities that I had is if you're like already Black and female and in America. Like these don't translate to Ethiopia, which I'm hoping they will when I go, but right now they don't. And also they don't include anyone else. They're not inclusive experiences that translate to other people. Right. The reason I talked about Ailey Camp and the West African dance group right there is because it's that. Like, obviously, if you're like, I don't know, a Polish European, this does not apply to you. You see what I'm saying? Like, that is the whole ass point. Like this. And I think, especially, and I will do more about unpacking work, but I've written about it a lot. So if you're interested in like skipping forward, feel free to read what I wrote. Those are old. I wrote those a while ago. But the point is, I feel like there's a misconception with this almost like, I'm not going to call it American exceptionalism because I don't believe it's that. It's like this idea of a melting pot in America, but nobody's melting. And especially me, I'm not melting and I'm never going to melt and I'm not interested in melting. And DEI is dead, right? So let's just kill it and move the fuck on. That's like the biggest part of this that I want to like make very clear. And I've been like, it's oh my God, like I'm gonna go back to it, but obviously we have unpacked that in depth, right? So I don't feel like I need to keep reiterating the same thing, but go back to those videos and watch them if you haven't. I will link them in the description box. But the point is this is like, okay, let me actually put this into perspective into something else I saw happening. So if you follow Abba and Preach, I hope you do. They're great. Abba is also Habesha, which is just like means he's like Ethiopian or whatever. But he's been going live in his like traditional garb, which I think is so fucking funny. And then if you saw his conversation yesterday, he's actually talking about the differences amongst Habesha people, specifically in relation to religion, and how there's this group of specifically like Orthodox Habesha people who just pray all day in their like little garb or whatever. Now I'm familiar with that too, but I haven't. It was refreshing to hear him say it and not me, because I keep saying like there's quite a lot of diversity within groups. But the funny thing about this American DEI situation is that maybe everybody doesn't understand that everybody else already has a country and land and like places to go back to. This is kind of, I also think if you haven't seen the, I think his name is Secular Talk, but he covered something Medhi Hasan said. Basically, Medhi Hasan tore Matt Walsh to shit. He basically like cooked his ass in a way that was like comical. But the way that he cooked him was a way that I think many Americans don't understand. And hearing the secular guy explain it was refreshing as well. He was basically saying like, so many of these people have been going with the bell curve shit. Oh, the IQ is up here and IQ is race-based and all this shit. But like, here's what I was thinking about the other day. You know how everybody says like, bring your best? Bring your best. Okay, so let's say like, what happened when we all brought our best? Nigeria gave us Iris Star and WizKid. Ethiopia gave us The Fucking Weeknd and Leah Kibiti. America gave us Roseanne and Matt Walsh. I mean, if you want to talk about like who is down bad, I'm sorry, but the white group y'all did not bring your best. At least you had Taylor Swift though. Taylor Swift, I feel like Taylor Swift saved white girls in a way that they needed to be saved. At the same time, if we're talking about competition here, Beyonce, like, and it's just like bring your best. We got Beyonce. So anyway. I just think that needed to be said. I also think you should go listen to what Medhi Hasan said, because there's just a certain amount of like, it's like, I'm not even going to call it pseudo intellectualism. It's more just like white retardation on like like we could just watch it and like replay the clips. And it's like, wow, y'all really thought you were cooking for so long. And then the point that I don't get, like, I appreciate the conversations around like anti-DEI. I feel that too. But here's what I would also say, like, keep that energy. Like, I'm tired of seeing Vogue L include black people. We don't need any black people in Vogue Germany. There's no black people in Germany. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep it in Morocco, Ethiopia, okay? Kenya. That's where the blacks are. There's none in Germany. So we don't need Leah Kibiti on another Vogue Germany cover. We don't need you to include Thames in white events. Okay? Don't do it. Just separate everybody like they're already separated. Okay? And then when everybody flocks to all the black girls because they're prettier, then just be mad that genetics won out in the end. And I'll just leave that there, because that's the other thing that really fucking pisses me off. If you're gonna talk about like equality and like who's the fucking best, don't be mad when you lose. When you lose because you're not the best, then don't be mad. This is the main reason why I literally, we're rolling back replays and clips from like 2017. And they're only relevant now because so many of you are so stupid and have lived so little that a replay from 2017 would only make sense to you now. You have to speak in Roseanne to these people. Like, you have to like dumb it down to the hot dog level. You gotta be like, bun, processed meat, person speaking. You gotta use like an algorithm and a cartoon animation and a TikTok dance. And then maybe they will understand. But otherwise, it's just like, oh, I don't know. Maybe that's why Taj felt the need to pull out some fucking mask. Like, what is he talking about? I don't understand. Also, I'm sorry. I just don't think it's a flex right now. If you're a man trying to flex a car that is not self-driving in some way, it isn't a flex. And that's what I thought. So to me, watching Taj's McLaren did nothing, because it's like, you just bought a car that you're gonna have to drive. And then also, where the fuck are you gonna drive it? Because like, the streets here, this isn't the coast. At least if you're in the coast, like in Santa Barbara, people having those cars make sense because you can like roll up and down the coast. Where are you gonna roll on Hollywood Boulevard? There's traffic and shit all over the floor here. You can't drive anywhere. None of it makes any sense. And that's what I mean. I finally see the Holly weirdos, like what everybody is talking about in Tennessee. You're there, and then you see like little snippets of it, and you're like, ah, wow, they're fucking weirdos and crazies. And then you come here and you see it, and you're like, oh my god, no, seriously, it's like really like wild. Like it's like Deluluville on 100. But you know, let's see it like step by step. Some things that were really cool though, and this is the main reason I wanted to come on and talk about it, because so many different things happened in the last like 3 days. So Vogue World ended, and I would just like to personally announce that Leah Kibiti was here. And I've never, she was like flying the plane, so basically all the models got on this plane, a jet, something, I don't know what it was. But she was like in the cockpit, like taking all these, she posted a bunch of live videos from the cockpit. And then somebody else, some guy who worked he was buying ice or something they had a cocktail station and a coffee station there. And he had all these like wristbands from Vogue World, and I was like, oh my god, you're working there? He's like, yeah. And I was talking about some of my favorite people. I was like, yeah, Ugbot's there, and Iman Haman's there. And I guess he had like he got her coffee or something, and he's like, she's so tall. I was like, I know. And it's just hilarious because like another thing that I think is very interesting, and I want to compare this because more people, especially Choice TV, talked about this last night, but he was talking about influencers. He was basically talking about he used some word, go watch it for yourself. It was called tracing or something, or targeting, I can't remember. Go whatever he said last night, that I'll put it in the description box. But he was describing this, how basically a lot of your favorite like pretty boy influencers are just hoes. They're like prostitutes who like sell their body. I can't really explain. Listen to what he said. He has better words. You should hear what he's saying. But that's not even the point that I'm making. So if we're talking about whatever Nepo babies are, and if you're talking about a Lori Harvey, a Gracie Abrams, what is her name? Hailey Bieber. Okay, like I get it. Also, Hailey Bieber is all over this town in a way, like at every fucking bus stop there's Hailey Bieber eating some sushi. She's having a sandwich. Now, like I've said this a million gazillion times, like there's no white influencer that I follow personally. I do follow the black ones though. So we cover Justine Skye deeply, and Justine Skye is friends with Hailey Bieber and Kendall Jenner. So there's just so many times, and like Kendall has just like popped up on these. Basically, when Justine was trying to plan for her last album, I guess Kendall was there and just popped up on all the lives and shit. So that's the only reason I even know anything that's going on with her. I've said that before. That's not the point though. So you might be wondering, or maybe you're not wondering. I had this question. I was like, okay, so if we know who all the Nepo babies are, then what the fuck is everybody else doing trying to make people believe that they are like something? You know what I mean? Because like, well, obviously if you're here, we know who the fashion girlies are because like we watch them walk up and down the runway. So who is this like 4'3" bitch who's like 93 pounds with like 100,000 followers? Like who? This isn't even aspirational. Like it's like, if you look at her and then you look at like Iman Haman, it's not even close. Like when you talk about busted Becky, that's like that, you put the pictures side by side, like it's not even close. And then especially when you're talking about, you like run across the real models in person, you're like, wow, that's crazy. Like who's like, I understand, at least if I was like white and I was following like Kendall Jenner or something, I'd be like, okay, well, okay. Like Kendall's kind of like that girl. She's like tall, she's pretty. Like I get it, and like she like has shit. Or like Hailey Bieber, I also understand. But the others, like there's so many of them I couldn't name. Like how is this aspirational? And like I feel like you're going the wrong way. That is the confusing part to me. And I feel like for so long I've seen so many of them, and it doesn't make any sense to me, because I'm like, wouldn't you want to strive for the top? Like right? Like you would want to be at whatever the top is, but the top spots are occupied. And that's kind of what I wanted to get to the crux of explaining now. The reason why I wanted to cover some of the things that are like kind of like behind the scenes of Mona or behind the scenes of Justine Skye or some things like that, I wanted to unpack those conversations so that you understand like where the inspiration is coming from for being the it girls. Like if you were there from the beginning of Lori Harvey, it had to be in like I don't know, I want to say like maybe 2019, where she was in this car ride and she literally did, it was like an Instagram story where she was like, I'm going to Pilates, and she had matcha in her hand. The whole world has gone to Pilates and matcha from that one story. If you were there for the story, though, you would have seen it because she like shared it publicly. You see, like, the trickle down effect. That's how it goes. It legitimately trickles down. So just start from the top. This is the same thing I'm saying with, like, so for instance, so last night there was some event with the Wall Street Journal. Now, I don't actually understand. Maybe it's just because the models have all the money, obviously. Someone posted this also the other day, which I thought was funny. It was like a little quote that was like, take me back to 2020. And it was a picture of Drake walking out of Iman Haman's apartment with a bag and a flip-flop. It's just like, yes, we were there for that too. And that was a time. But you have to realize there are plenty of people who have no idea what we're talking about because they weren't there. Like, not like we weren't in Paris. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, we were all orbiting in the same field of, like, in the topic of conversation, that was a moment in time. And we care about that because it was like a Pinterest board moment of clarity. You know what I'm saying? That's